They want me to change, they want me to change, but I ain't changing, nah. I remain the same.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you in concert with Beautiful Machine Magazine and the mighty Nerd DJs Radio Network. You already know, man. Week after week, year after year, month after month, day after day, we only rock with legends around this way. And Black Gun Owners Magazine's own Mr. Jay Williams will be returning back to the conversation. It is always an honor and a privilege to build with the king. How you doing, bro? How's life?
I'm doing well. I do not have any complaints at all. Can't complain at all.
How's the family doing, man?
Doing well, doing well. Everybody's back healthy and back moving again, so I can't complain.
All right, let's jump off, man. For people that don't know you, you are a Second Amendment proponent. Huge supporter of Black people taking advantage to the fullest extent of the Second Amendment under Orangey or President Trump, or however you would like to describe him. Are Black people in danger of losing their Second Amendment rights?
No, I don't think so. I don't. There's always going to be a push to try to remove them because I mean, if you have them, you're as
Mhm.
free as you as free as you ever need to be. If you have them, you have the will and the means to defend yourself from whatever. So there's always going to be a push, but I don't think there's any more danger now under any other president.
Really?
Nah, not
Huh?
at all.
I think that it's not the laws anymore, it's the application. And they seem to be okay with circumventing the law and the justice system without shit. Nothing's happening. You don't see that. You don't think that. I'm just kind of looking at the playbook of what they're doing right now, and it's similar to Nazi Germany.
Yeah, nah, you definitely can see the parallels and the similarities, but then that's where your second comes in at. So we have the weapons now. We have the ability to defend ourselves and the means to defend ourselves. We just have to be organized. Find your tribe. I've been saying it all day. Find your tribe and train with them. And if push comes to shove, that it gets to the point where we're outside of the Constitution, we're outside of following laws, and we're just gonna push our agenda the way we want to push it, then you've got a decision to make if you're gonna stand up or lay down, and that's what we're training for now. That's what we're keeping our weapons sharp, keeping our minds sharp, keeping our bodies sharp for. Not the everyday day to day being on point to protect yourself from the standard robbers and home invaders and mass shooters and stuff like that. But ultimately, the Second Amendment is also about being able to defend yourself from tyrants that step over the bounds of law. Once you're in, we agree as a people to live inside certain laws and
Hmm.
follow certain rules. So once either side breaks that agreement, then you got a decision to make.
Where's Black people's NRA?
The National African American Gun Association, NAGA. If you go to just type in NAGA, or I think it's www.naga.com. You go in, you can join up. It's less than $100 for the year. They have family memberships. They've advocated in front of Congress before. So yeah, we have our organization. There's Black Gun Owners Association of America, and then there's individuals like Maj Toure and people like that advocate on an individual basis.
Hmm.
So
No, I'm listening to you, bro. I was just pulling up a couple of little notes, man.
yeah,
Um, Rodney Hinton. For people that don't know, the brother's son was um, allegedly killed by the Cincinnati Police Department, I do believe.
mhm.
And shortly thereafter, seeing the footage of that, he killed an off duty police officer that as a lot of them will point out, he had nothing to do with that. Good strategy or bad strategy?
Um, I can't say good or bad strategy. I can say in the moment,
Hmm.
I know my love for my children and my love for my family, and um, you know, he did what he felt like he had to do in the moment, and you know, I can't fault him because I'm not in his mind frame, but I know how I feel about my children, and I'm not letting mine go without it being answered. So you know,
Okay, so let me state this. And I am not saying that I agree or disagree with what the brother did. However, from a strategic standpoint, from what's occurred between the police and black folks, this was the most strategic move. And people will argue, well, that person had nothing to do with it. It should be that way, unfortunately.
that's kind of the point. You
Yeah.
know, if it's that one individual, then all you have to do is just protect that one individual. Much like
Yes.
in Minneapolis when they had 200 police officers outside of a Chauvin's home. But it's like when they say, "Well, you fit the description. We were looking for a black male between 5'2" and 7 feet tall,
Exactly.
140 to 300 pounds. So you fit the description." Unfortunately for this officer and his family,
He
you
fit the
know,
description.
and if
Yeah.
it's understood, and I don't want to misquote him, but the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan spoke about the law of retaliation and retribution, and he says, when and if when we die, they die as well, then we'll sit down at a table and have a discussion about where we move forward in this country.
Yeah.
Because if the death and the pain and the hurt is only on our side, they're cool with that. They're fine with that.
And
But
honestly, so are we.
yeah, there are far too many people. And I'll be honest with you, the Rodney Hinton situation, I'm definitely seeing a change in sentiment from people because back when it was Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown, everyone was ready to run to the streets. They was ready to protest. I don't really see, I don't really see a lot of people calling for that. I don't see a lot of people wanting bullhorns and picket signs. I think people are cool with it being eye for an eye and life for a life. And we have to get to that point. If you really believe that your black life truly matters,
Mhm.
then no one should be able to take it, black, white, and different, and there not be retribution for it.
And see, that's what get missed. I think people and it's intentionally missed that most black people will say, we just want it equal. We want it equitable across the board, black, white, or whatever. We don't have any problem with justice.
Hmm.
We have a problem with justice being misrepresented towards us.
Absolutely.
And when we speak on that, somehow we're playing the race card or some other goofy shit that I never understood.
Yeah.
That they have co-opted like woke.
Right.
Oh my god, it just fucking bites me right there in the ass.
You right. You're 100% right. Like when I say woke, I'm going by the original definition. I'm going
Man,
by our definition. So are you one of those woke people? Yep, I am. I definitely am, but not the way you're saying it. The way it's intended to be when we first started saying it. So I never allowed them to change the definition. So yes, I do. Yeah, I am one of those woke people, but not by your standards. Not with all of the nonsense that you lumped in with woke, and anything you don't like is woke. Not by that definition, no, but by the actual true definition, 100%.
yo, you know what I love about black people is the conversations we have without talking. Like when you at Applebee's, you and your girl, and you happen to catch the eye of some brother across Applebee's who's going through the same shit, and y'all know y'all going through the same shit and don't have to say a fucking word.
Don't have to say a word. We both
Yo,
look. We see somebody acting erratic, and we look like, one of
oh
them,
my
one of them.
god. Or when we all in line and you know we getting lied to by the hostess,
Oh,
nigga. Yo, I remember. I think it was Bishop Talbert Swan I had on one time, and we talked about his nigga moment,
Hmm.
and mine too, to be quite honest.
Right.
And what I mean by that is the first time we were called nigga. Have you had that experience?
Uh, not online, yeah, of course, but not in person, though. Not as of yet. Other than maybe no, I don't think I ever have. Tell you the truth, other than online, it happens every day online. But especially now that I'm on X, I guess that's their new thing to do. Back in the day, they would listen to Eminem and rap music to show they were edgy. Now it's I'm willing to say the word, but
I mean, they
never
got a
where it counts.
platform that accepts it.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of goofies over there, but there are some real people that we connect with over there. But it's a bunch of goofies. I just ignore them. You're not willing. If you own a business, you're not willing to put that white only sign on the front. You're not willing to say you're not letting black people in because you know what's gonna happen. That business is gonna go away. You know.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Whole
I
there's still sundown towns in this country.
yeah. I guess, but we'd have to test the theory out. You know.
Why?
When the sun goes down, not saying that we need to because we can go in there. I'm just saying if we were to go in there, would it really be a sundown town? The sun goes down, it's going down on everybody. So you gotta know that you know that you know. You
I
might want to stay
personally,
inside.
I look at it completely different
How so?
because at some point they dealing with nigga money,
Yeah.
and we can stop that nigga money.
Oh, always.
Like these little bitty, you riding through the middle of Kansas, and you come across a town with 1,000 people that all hate niggas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they all buy the products that they're buying are limited,
Mm-hmm.
and we just step up the food chain to see who's actually selling to these people and stop fucking with that company.
Right, right, right.
We just we don't have a discipline anymore.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We've seen some successful boycotts. I think it's just that the organization is lacking, and also the trust figures. Because to be honest, if I hear Al Sharpton say we boycotting, I'm probably not. That's probably not who I'm listening to
Yeah,
make that decision. No
I'm
disrespect to
immediately
him.
going to that store. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, yeah. Because I don't know if y'all talked about it beforehand and that's part of the deal, and you're gonna come in 3 weeks later, and
All right.
so yeah, I'm probably ignoring that one. But there are a lot of younger people that are coming up that are less compromised, if you will. Now, in reference to the sundown towns, I don't mean like, oh, we're gonna purposely go there and we're gonna shop and spend our money. But
Mhm.
if you happen to be driving through this place at night or in the afternoon or something like that, and you encounter these people, then at that point, it becomes who's the most prepared for this engagement.
Mhm.
So while I don't say, oh, let's go and purposely test these people out, if you find yourself in that situation, you find a way out of that situation successfully, and that
Yeah.
negates all of that sundown town stuff. You really got to be the best if that's what you're doing. If we
Yeah.
all stand inside the law, we don't have no problems. If we step outside the law, then you have to be the best. And you know,
Yeah, but that sounds good on paper,
indeed,
but the application is severely disproportionate.
yeah, it can be. It's getting better though. It's
I
getting
think
better.
it just depends on where you're at. Like the police department in Detroit does not, and the police department in Detroit, and that's no, I was born and raised there, but it represents the city unlike any other police department with a proponent of a majority of black people in
Hmm.
that city that I've seen.
Okay.
So the policing is different typically. Like if you see a police like situation with a black person in Detroit, it's generally not the Detroit Police Department. It's the sheriff's or the state police department.
I
But
got you.
it's like they policing their own people is different.
Hmm.
And your respect for the cops is different because it's more of a transactional. Yeah, I'm out on these streets, man. I got caught.
It is
It's
what
not
it
this
is.
nigga fault. And he like, hey, I know what you're doing, bro. I got a brother that got caught. I'm gonna treat you as good as I can. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Right. I
transactional
got a
thing.
job I got to do, and
Yeah, with some love.
I respect that.
Yo, this is the last time you got stopped by the cops. Were you scared?
You know, I was actually thinking about this. This would have been um maybe about a month ago, and not at all. In fact, the last two times that I got stopped, both
Mhm.
were in the last year, and not at all, man. It never even crossed my mind that anything other than how a traffic stop was supposed to go was gonna happen. Um, like I've been stopped enough times to know how a traffic stop's supposed to go.
Mhm.
License and registration. I'm officer so and so. You know why I pulled you over. That type of thing. And they run it. I'm sure when I don't know what's on their system because I ain't never been in no police car or nothing like that. But I'm sure when they go, they can see you got concealed carry and all that good stuff. And I've not had any of them ask me about it, ask me about weapons in the car,
Mm.
any of that. Even I got stopped in Georgia on the way to the NAGA convention when they had it down there. I was flying too, but yeah, he needed to stop me. I had just came over the hill. I had rented a new Audi and it was light.
Oh,
Man, yeah, he needed to stop me. But yeah, I didn't realize I was going that fast. But I looked when I saw him. I looked. I said, "Oh yeah, 90. Yeah, he got to get me." But yeah, he came. He was kind, courteous, did what he had to do, wrote me that ticket, and I got on my way. But it never even. I had maybe two or three different weapons in the car,
mhm.
but it never even occurs to me. Honestly, it's just if it and I guess that's a good thing because then if it feels out of place, then I know I got one of them ones at my window.
Yeah.
So
I
but
got
yeah,
stopped in southern Ohio a couple of
Mm,
weeks ago.
okay,
And on the surface, this was a very polite, and I was doing 90 something miles an hour. There's no arguing that.
right.
Um, but he did something that I won't forget.
What's that?
He leaned into my car window, which was a violation of my rights because you've entered my vehicle
Right.
without a search warrant.
That's also unsafe on his part, but good.
Well, he was not on the side where the traffic was coming. He was on the
Oh,
grass
I
side. He
got
was
you.
on the
I got
grass
you. He's
side.
on the opposite side.
And he leaned over like that. And he did that to look through my shit without
Mm,
asking me to look through my shit. And I know he did that because he noticed I had some gym shoe boxes, and which were in plain sight. But
right.
he made a point to ask about them. Now, I will say that the grayer I've gotten, the less of a threat I have become,
I
and I have
got you.
noticed that.
Yeah.
So and I'm not, I got good license, I got insurance, and I'm an old nigga.
Right. Right. Right.
Not that I'm not going to do anything, but the likelihood is that in their mind
Right.
has diminished.
Perception.
And I've noticed that, like I've gotten, pulled over, and hey, once they feel comfortable, oh, you not a threat in my mind. It's different.
So, you said the gentleman he leaned into your car. Did you say anything to him about
I
that or
didn't,
okay?
and that was a nigga moment for me because
Mm-hmm.
I recognized you did it, but I also recognized it was not worthy of me going through it while I'm on my way down south by myself
Absolutely.
because I'm
Great
in an area.
situational awareness.
Yeah, I'm in an area that if they lock me up, I may never see the light of day for whatever reason. And I thought about that shit.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a situation you want to avoid any
Mm,
kind of nonsense if you can. Now, if he's being egregious, get out of the car. I'm finna search that. Okay, cool. You might have to. You gotta look, man. You gotta bring this down. I don't got nothing. I don't do nothing. These shoe boxes back here, like ain't nothing in my car. There might be somebody out here you want. It ain't me. Like,
yeah.
write me my ticket, whatever, and let me go on about my way. But yeah, if that's all he does, you understand it's a violation of your rights. You pick and choose your battles, and it worked out well for you, so you made the right decision.
200 years in this country have elapsed from 2025. So, and my question is, when the numbers have switched and let's say black people are a strong number two behind Hispanics, and white people are like where Asians are currently. Do do we pay them back?
No. It's a waste of our time, and it's beneath us. Honestly, we don't need them for their labor. We don't need them for the best thing that we can do for them, and the best thing that they can do for us is to go about their way. Go about their way. Do what you gotta do. Go your way. We'll go our way. You got it. You got everything figured out. You know, for the last 200, 300, 400 years, you've been the smartest. You've been the best. You had all the positions. You had all that. You got this. We're gonna go ahead and separate and do our own thing. Gonna form our own economies and put our money in our banks and all of that good stuff. And then, since you got all these answers and you are these brilliant, great people, you should be fine. That's the best thing you can do because we know how that ends. We know how that happens. But unfortunately, I honestly don't think that's going to be an issue because they keep pushing these wars and they can't win them. They
And
can't win them,
they've never won a war without black people,
and they won't have us this time.
and that'll be problematic.
And it'll be their last one. And so what few that's left? What few that's left? You pushing a war with Russia, China? You gonna beat both of them together by yourself?
I don't
It's
even think that there's going to necessarily need to be a physical war at this point. I think that China specifically has recognized the divide that this country has built into the fabric,
hmm
and they've exploited. Like if China was to say, "We're gonna give all black people $1 million," that right there would fuck this country completely up, and
I
they
say
wouldn't they wouldn't have to they wouldn't have to shoot a bullet.
not never. Not one shot. And I say this all the time. If China were to come to black people and say, "Hey, black people, listen, we come up with this plan. We want to make y'all a BRICS nation. Separate from the US dollars, join up with us, come to these four zones, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. Y'all move to this area. We'll give y'all air support and artillery, help y'all defend yourself. Y'all set up a president, set up a country, and y'all be a BRICS nation. All y'all have to do to get this, because you're not gonna get reparations from these people. They're not gonna give you what you need. They're not gonna set you up to where you can be independent. So we're willing to do that as long as y'all don't step in for what we got coming for them. If China were to do that, I'd be honest with you, it wouldn't make any sense for us to say no. You want to fight them for reparations for 50 years, or say, hey, we're gonna take a step back and we're gonna
That's a tough
separate,
one.
and we just want access. We want land with that's farmable, that has access to the sea, and we can go and be out your hair and go our separate ways. We be out your hair. I firmly believe that any and everything that black people need, we have already.
I believe
We
that.
have engineers. We can just with HBCUs alone, we can educate our children to the doctorate level.
I just don't trust that they would have control over 95% of this country and be okay with that.
Oh no, they definitely wouldn't. That's not in their nature.
No, I'm talking about after the if let's say it goes the way you've planned.
Mhm.
Black people got four states in this country. China has the rest. They have, usurped the Caucasian majority in this country, and now they're running shit. They're not just gonna leave us alone. It'll just be another enemy of a different color, and that'll be the argument. It's the devil that we know as opposed to the devil that we don't.
Yeah, and I can respect that, but I know our people, and if these folks couldn't exterminate us with everything that they did to us, I don't think anybody else on the planet can either. Everything that they did to us, they had us outnumbered. They had us in the worst conditions. They had us with no medical care. They had us eating terrible food. They dropped off, poisonous drugs that are addictive in our community, guns, and giving us
True.
the only everything. They've done it all. And not only are we not a smaller force, we're still growing. We're still thriving. We're still educating ourselves. We're still making international partnerships. I look at Ibrahim Traore over in Burkina Faso, kicking
Hmm.
the French out. taking over their resources and all of that. If he can do it, we can do it too.
You
Mexico's
know,
an independent and sovereign nation. They got smaller population than we do.
does
So
Mexico have nukes?
probably not officially, but I don't
No.
think there's a country on the earth that don't have one or two.
Oh shit, we would know. That's one thing I think. I think that they have found a way. Well, yeah, even if you're trying to work on that shit to hide that shit from the powers that be is
Hmm.
extremely difficult. The reason I bring that up is because I looked it up the other day just for no reason. But the continent of Africa does not have a nuclear weapon. Wait a moment, I take that back. Is Israel on? It is on the continent, right?
Technically, yes.
So technically, they would be the country, I believe, that are nuclear armed. Other than that, no black country has got weapons. I
Officially.
want to say that South Africa had a program
Hmm.
and was talked out of it some years ago.
Yeah, that's a little dangerous to be outnumbered 10-1 and have nuclear facilities because they get you up out of there in a matter of days. You outnumbered 10-1, and now they got access to those nukes. So that makes sense.
I think your guy is helping change the narrative, and he has receipts from guys like Muammar Gaddafi.
Hmm.
He tried the same thing. Look what happened. Look who did it. There's been a couple other brothers along the way. They tried the same thing. They got the same result. Look who did it. So now it's having more of an impact across the continent as opposed to just an idea. That idea is spreading. Do you see in our lifetime Africa becoming united monetarily?
Yes. Um, and I say that because if that was not a possibility, they
Mhm.
wouldn't have tried to kill that man 16, 17 times. They wouldn't have tried to assassinate him. They wouldn't have tried to buy his guards. They wouldn't have tried to do all those things. They know, like I feel like everybody who pays attention can see the handwriting on the wall.
Mhm.
It's the way they're pushing. There's no way that these we're not going into a war where it's World War II, it's tanks and bombs. It's drones, it's satellite weapons. There's
Man,
no place you can hide. They can see everybody. They got weapons that can come in and just get humans, leave the animals and all of that alone. They got diseases that they can just spray through the air, put in the water. When it finally kicks off, people are gonna go by the tens of millions, and it's gonna go quick. And you already at a negative birth rate. Your population is already aging. It's gonna go quick, and it makes sense for everybody to go after number one. China wants to be number one. They taking black people out ain't gonna help them.
no,
Yeah,
it's
taking the
not.
Hispanics out ain't gonna help them.
No.
Taking the Indians out ain't gonna help them. There's one group they're sitting at number one. They're hoarding the most of the resources and lording over everybody's country. And they got 6 million bases all over the planet and trying to go up in space and all of that. That's one group.
I disagree about India though.
Eh,
Like India is China 25 years ago.
that's fair.
They have the technological savvy. They are starting to kind of change the operational dynamics. And my suspicion is that the culture that China, you might not agree with the communist shit. Most people don't
Right,
here.
right, right.
But from the outside looking in, it looks like they have built up their own people
Hmm.
with the money they brought in, as
Definitely.
opposed to a few people just making a shitload of money. And when India really, because India is racist as a motherfucker,
Indeed.
when they start to see that that's probably their biggest problem, and if we fix that and develop more of national identity,
Hmm.
like Chinese people love China.
Absolutely.
They may not like the nigga in charge, may not like the party in charge, but they fucking love China.
Right, right, right.
Not everybody in India loves India,
Yeah.
and they got to change that. Once they start changing that, give it a generation or two. When they start really working on that, they'll be China because they got the numbers and
They
they got a
do.
shitload of money in India,
They
and
definitely do.
they got nukes.
Also, yeah, yeah. I guess it would really depend on how their war with Pakistan goes.
Yeah,
If because that could set them back tremendously if it ever escalated to the highest level.
yeah.
So
Which I think that the European and Americans will probably do everything they can to prevent that shit.
yeah,
Because that's a lot of money. India does a lot of shit for us.
indeed.
That's a lot of fucking money lost. Why? What are we missing technologically that we as a community have not been able to take advantage of some of the things that India has been able to for this country?
What are black people missing?
Yeah,
Control. Black people go into Indians go into Indian schools taught by Indians about India, and they want the progress of India. Same thing with Chinese. We don't go into, at least not a majority of us go into black schools taught by black people who want the best for the black race. So it's a little slower for us to get to the point.
yeah.
I honestly feel that we're getting there now. I feel like we're getting there. When I talk to people in real life, when I see people online, I honestly feel like we're getting to that point where we see the value in black education, the value in black first, the value in us building us and not really worrying about the acceptance of others. I watch how quick people turned on Target and how quick people turned on these corporations. And one of the things that really struck me about it is there were people saying like, "Oh no, don't boycott Target because there's black businesses in Target and they'll take them out of Target." And my question was, how are these businesses exempt? Why are y'all not? Y'all are black. If black people are boycotting Target, you got to pull your products and go direct to consumer. We want the product, we just don't want it through Target. If
Mhm.
that's what we're doing, everybody got to be
Is it a
involved.
fair ask to somebody that's just been what's the sister name? Damn, I can't remember her name, but she's got products in Target.
Mhm.
But she's worked a long, let's say she put in 25 years to get to this goal. Is it fair of the rest of black people to say to her, you need to pull your shit out of that store?
If you are going to ask for our support, you have to be. If you're going to ask for black support, then you have to be in solidarity with what we have going on. You can go direct to consumer. Black people buy from Amazon and it gets shipped. So why can't they buy from you directly? They buy from Target.com and it gets shipped.
Right?
Walmart.com and it
Facts.
gets shipped. So they can buy. Black people will buy fishing lures from small companies. They buy ammunition from small. They buy all types of stuff. So why can't they buy directly from you? Set
So,
you got the money now.
and this is I can't remember if I asked you this. I asked everybody this question, and I can't remember the last time if I had started it yet. But anyway, it has nothing to do with nothing. You're sitting on a park bench. God sits down next to you and says you can ask he or she one question. What would it be?
Um, Probably what do I need to do to maximize my purpose here on Earth? If I feel like if I'm maximizing my purpose here on Earth, that's the best thing I can do for my community. That's the best thing I can do for my nation. I think of Malcolm X,
Hmm.
who he was before he got with the nation, and who he became after the nation when he maximized his purpose. He's yo the last Malcolm X Day was the 100th year,
Hmm.
and he's touched tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people around the world just
Yeah.
by, and he continues to do so just by maximizing his purpose. So that's what I where do I need to be and how do I maximize that purpose? And I feel like that would solve all of the issues that it's within my control to solve.
Yo, and just on a personal level, I want to thank you.
Absolutely.
We've been rocking with each other online for a minute now.
Definitely.
And you a stand up brother,
Appreciate it.
and I'm proud of you, bro. I absolutely like what you are doing is you have given a voice to a lot of little. You have you have put a lot of little dots on a piece of paper so that we can all see who they are. And you
Absolutely.
turn those little dots into big shits in some cases. And in some cases, they've helped you in return. But you,
Absolutely.
you have you've set a standard out there for Black people interested in firearms to feel safe.
Yeah, I stand on the shoulders of some great individuals, and it's a beautiful thing because one of the things that I can see, like from this vantage point, you can see small groups all over the country, and so people may see in their area there's 100 people that they see going to the range events and going out and training, and they just see that 100. But
Mhm.
I'm able to see the 100 in Colorado and the 200 in
Yeah.
Georgia, the 500 here, the 600 there, and I'm able to see how many people there are that are adapting to this lifestyle. We have a queen down here in South Carolina. Her name is Robin. She owns Chicks with Triggers,
Mhm.
and I want to say this was maybe March, or she said, "Oh, we've hit 1,500 people trained for the year."
Yo.
50, and it's mainly women. It would be like 95% or more women that she's trained, and I'm like 1,500 in the first quarter of the year. Like she's moving 10, 15, and that's what she does full time. 10, 15, 20. She's done like 30 classes, like where there's 30 people in the class, and they're starting that firearms journey. Now I don't know if they may get the permit, and that's the last time they go and train, or they may become one of the best. They might start doing competition shooting. And I'm thinking if she's hitting these kind of numbers, and then you've got thousands of if you've got hundreds of trainers and they're
Mhm.
each doing 100, 200, 300 plus, they got people last year, they got people, you know, eventually it's going to get to the point where it's just the standard. Black
Yeah.
people have arms, they have concealed carry. It's just the standard. You would come across it so much, you're going to start running out of people who look down on firearms or afraid of firearms. It's going to become the point where it's not just that one crazy uncle, it's everybody.
And you know what? I see the Hebrew Israelites.
Hmm.
I see some of the videos that they have, and it's 500 of them,
Hmm.
close to 1,000.
Hmm.
The problem I have, respectfully, with the Israelites is it does not appear that they extend the love past the Hebrew Israelites when it comes to. I'll give you an example. Like in Malcolm X, when Malcolm X is in front of the police station
Hmm.
and he's got brothers from the nation helping a brother that had nothing to do with the nation.
Hmm.
I don't see that moment from Hebrew Israelites. Do we need that from them for the powers to be to really become
Um,
concerned? Or are they already concerned?
they definitely are concerned, and with good reason. A couple of things when I look at the Hebrew Israelites, I see like obviously I was in the army before, so I've seen military precision, I've
Mhm,
seen military style training, and they have that.
mhm.
If you remove the doctrine and all of that, and you look at what you see, it looks like
Like they
a
get
form.
down.
Yeah, it looks like a full formation of soldiers, a full
Yeah,
company or two companies of
absolutely.
soldiers. But recently they were down in Georgia, doing work on the Kendrick Johnson case. Who's not that I know of. His family are not Hebrew Israelites, so
Yeah.
I feel like they've done several maneuvers.
Okay.
So I feel like they do, maybe not maybe not as often as you see other
Mhm.
groups like other gun clubs and stuff like that, but I feel like they do step outside of just their group. But I don't know that they're while they've been around a while, I don't know that they have as many numbers as say maybe the Nation of Islam or
Mhm.
the combined amount of um, gun clubs and such. So as they grow, um, and I say this of any group, whether it's the Nation, whether it's the Hebrew Israelites, people may not necessarily agree with everything, but any group that's going to take you off of the street, get you off of drugs, stop you from, being that person who commits domestic violence, and if they raise you up from the level of a beast to a man that can be reasoned with,
Mm.
That's a good group to be a part of. It may not be your permanent star. It may just be what gets you in the door. It may, I was violent, I was this and that, and nobody could tell me anything. And then I got with some brothers from the nation, or I got with some brothers from the Hebrew Israelite, and now, I can be reasoned with. I'm a thinking man.
Yes.
Any group that gets you to that point is good for you, because we have far too many black people that they are like that. They're violent. You see the videos all the time. They love to pump those videos out. Look at this. Black people fighting in the. So you never see those videos from the Nation of Islam.
No.
You never see those videos from the Hebrew Israelites. So if you
No.
go from this person that's fighting and causing a ruckus and destroying the neighborhood and the community to a Hebrew Israelite, it's an improvement. If you go to the Nation, it's an improvement. You don't have to agree with their doctrine, or I'm not wearing them purple Power Ranger suits. Well, I mean, you can feel how you want to feel about it, but
Walking around looking like a Crown Royal bag.
listen, they like I say, feel how you feel about it. They are
But
making change in their community. So
yes,
and that's all I care about. All I care about is that if you were, not an asset to the community, now
and
you
now you
are an
are.
asset to the community. I can get past
I
everything
fucks with
else.
whatever it is you're doing, bro.
Whatever you're doing, I can
Yes,
get past it.
it
If
makes you
you're
a better
taking
leader.
young men that are a danger to the community and turn them into assets of the community, I'm rocking with you. Whether that's the Nation, New Era Detroit, whether that's any of the gun clubs or militias, whatever it is, if you're a positive influence on the community, I'm rocking with you.
Now, what I think that would help as a community is for us to start using organizations as part of our machine.
Hmm.
Like the nation has, for whatever reason, they have tapped into how to take a brother from prison to success.
Absolutely.
And unlike any other, they if you coming out of prison, and I don't give a fuck whether you in the Nation of Islam in prison or not, it should be a black requirement that you go to them. You ain't got to stay with them forever, but you need to learn how to be a fucking man, or a sister that both are positive attributes to our
Hmm.
community once you leave.
Absolutely.
And then go do your thing or whatever, go pick.
Whatever.
But we need to polish them niggas off when they get out. And that's the perfect organization. I'm sorry, what was you about to say, bro?
Oh no, well, just echoing your sentiment. The the FOI training, I think it should be mandatory. There are countries where and no matter who you are,
You
unless
gotta
you're
serve.
lame or something like that, you can't walk, whatever. Unless you are that, you're going in and you're doing 2 years of military service.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you get drafted to go and I'm gonna play professional sports in another country. Nope, you're gonna do your 2 years, and then after that, if they still want you, you can go. There was a UFC fighter. He was a UFC fighter coming up in his career, and they said, "You got to do your 2 years." He did his 2 years, and he came back after the end. I think black people should do that. Every young black man, young black woman, when you get to whatever the age the nation lets you in, you should send them down there. I ain't saying you got to join, but if you're having a problem in your community, why would you not reach out to the nation? Hey, listen, this is our fifth shooting. It's wild down here. Can y'all send some brothers down here? We fundraise, we put together, we sold fish plates, whatever you got to do. Just bring 15, 20 brothers down here for a week to
Man.
walk in our community, engage with these young men and show them something different. I guarantee you it'll change it.
And I tell you
Guarantee
one
you.
thing you ain't never heard in your lifetime is some street nigga shooting at the nation.
That's facts.
Like them niggas
that,
walk
that,
down the street, respect is given. Period.
absolutely.
You know.
And if you try, if you find out, I seen a video, some white dude somewhere ran up on him and
You fuck
buddy flipped
around,
him over and hit him with about 15,
you gonna
and that
find
was the
out.
end of that.
Yeah.
I
You
bet they
know,
ain't have no more problems out there.
and that's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, biggest hope for black people before it's over for you.
100% free and independent nation. Free and independent nation, completely controlled by us from top to bottom. And uh, another thing that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in one of his lectures, he said, If 20 million of us fight and 10 million of us die, the other 10 get to live free. And I heard that, and like they used to say in the church, it quickened in my spirit. I I made up my mind that day. I don't care which 10 I'm in. As long as I know there's some 10 somewhere that's going to live free and independent and make their way in the world, we're too great as black people. We're too skilled as black people. We're too talented as black people to be stuck under these folks and under their system.
They have stolen a couple of things from us: our imagination
Hmm.
and our willingness to die for each other. We'll
And you got
fight
to
for
get
each
that
other,
back.
and we'll shoot it. We'll shoot at each other
Hmm.
for each other. But the sacrifice of not existing has, I won't say it's disappeared, but
It's
it is for a good cause. There's some niggas out there that die for you for goofy shit.
definitely
Yeah, like, I don't want you to die for me because we're robbing a bank, bro. That makes no fucking sense. It
right.
doesn't help
That
our
makes no
kids,
sense.
you know.
But in the sense of we got old people in the community that want to sit out on their porches and enjoy their retirement and you know the sunset of their life, and they can't because you want to shoot up the neighborhood. I don't care.
Oh
If I catch him at his grandma's house, I'm gonna get him.
man,
Listen, man. Listen.
and
We
then y'all
want to
niggas
talk to
can't even
you,
shoot.
right? And you ain't even hit the person. You coming to get. You hit the old people. You hit the bystanders. If we can't get you to act right, we best case scenario, we want you to act right. Best case scenario, we want you to live. But if we can't get you to act right, we can get you up out of here. And you
And we
know,
ain't doing that enough either.
that's what need to happen.
Niggas like RG. Have you seen the whole thing between Ryan Clark and RG3?
I have.
Thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you've seen RG3, you kind of knew what he was from
Coon,
for a while. And
coon,
so now that
coon.
he now he
Sorry,
right,
had to make sure we get that coon. No, I'm sorry.
absolutely.
Go ahead.
And now that he's off of ESPN, I think he's kind of figured out if I say certain things, I get this amount of clicks, I get this amount of likes, and I'm willing to do what I got to do to build that brand up. 'Cause Cam Newton built the brand, they put him on ESPN. What's the punter name? He built the brand, they put him on
Oh,
ESPN. So let
white
me,
dude that I can't trust, worth the shit. I know you're talking
yeah,
about. Yeah,
him.
yeah.
But yeah, he built the brand and they put him on. And Ryan Clark called him on it and he got upset. And you can tell by the way he acted. And I say this of black people: we, if you call yourself a black leader or you have yourself in a position, we need to start having trials and tribunals where you sit down in front of other leaders in the community and defend the stuff that you've been doing. And
Mm.
if you can't defend it, you gotta sit down. Whether it's resign from that position, if you a senator, a congressperson, any of that. If we call you, it's your time. Come sit down before the community and explain why 6 reparation bills have went up and you voted against all of them. Explain why we can't trust you to do this. Explain why when it came time for you to not to drink that Flint water, Mr. Obama, you drank it anyway. Can you explain why you did that? And if you ain't got no explanation, you're gonna do one of two things. Whatever punishment that we deal out for you, you're gonna accept it or you're gonna run to them people. And if you run to them people, you over there forever. You can't call yourself no black leader because you've exposed yourself as caring about what they say more than what we say. If we say, hey, go ahead and come up out that position so somebody else can get it. I know you've been sitting there for 20 years and this is your seat. Come up out of there and we're gonna put some new blood in there. And you say, no, I'm gonna run with the whatever the Democrats tell me to do, whatever the Republicans tell me to do. I'm staying you with them permanently now. Don't speak on black issues. Don't do any because you've already shown you don't care about what
Yeah,
we think.
yeah. You chose a side.
You chose your side, and that's your side permanently, and you can't come back. And I don't know who would sit there. Obviously not me, but you know maybe.
Why not you?
Cause yeah, I think I should be on the outside just in case they
But
don't
that,
want to come out.
but you would be one of the people that needs to be on the inside. It's the people that want to be on the inside that I'm weary of.
Yeah, that's true. That definitely is true. But I mean, there are people who are far better spoken and far better educated and far more tapped in. Maybe a few members from the nation or the Hebrew Israelites can send somebody up there, and you know, even
Yeah,
maybe
but
people from the political
ain't
class.
no black. It ain't no black person alive that cares more about black people than you do, bro.
I mean, there might be a few, but I'm definitely tapped in, and I definitely love my people, and I definitely just want us
That's
free.
it. That's all I need.
I want us
You don't need
free.
to be the smartest nigga. You don't need to be the most buff nigga to make a good decision with wisdom.
That's true.
You just got to give a shit.
That's true. And I
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Give me some grandmas, you, some aunties, some uncles, some motherfuckers that that love black people, but have also been actionable.
I wanted to ask you, like, because another thing is, like, recently there were a couple of politicians, a mayor and a congressperson that was arrested. They were demonstrating for the immigrants and such, and they got arrested.
Yeah.
And so, what are your thoughts on that?
At some point, we need to sit on the sideline. We put in a lot of work for a lot of communities that don't reciprocate.
Absolutely.
This seems to be one of those situations. And I'm not to say that the Hispanic community is a monolith. They
Hmm.
are not. But by and large, and I think most black people would agree,
Hmm.
they have not been communal towards black people.
Yeah, I agree. In small numbers, yes, but as a group, you're right.
No. Yeah, and I talked to my people from Cali and New York, and they vehemently disagree. There's a lot of motherfuckers in between Cali and New York, and that shit is like, most of us don't grow up alongside people of Hispanic origin or ancestry, however you say it.
Right.
So our relationship is different, and what we see is different. So yeah, I think we should be sitting this one out. Like and it depends on how you want to look at it. It's hard for black people to not see the humanity in the situation because we've always
Absolutely.
been on the bottom of the barrel. But from a
Absolutely.
business standpoint, it has not helped our community at all.
From a political standpoint as well.
Man,
I can't push we can't push everybody's agenda. Push our agenda. Let us get ourselves right. 'Cause we built the country. We put the work in. We fought in all the wars. So before you came over here on Ellis Island, we were here. Before
yes,
you came across the border in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we were here. And I know there were
facts.
here Hispanic people here back in the day. There were a few Asian people here back in the day, but not
Not
as
like
far
us.
back as we were, and you haven't put in the work that we've put in for specifically for this nation and fought in all the wars. So let us get ourselves straight first. And then after that, we can come to your aid. If my belly's empty and I'm looking for food, what I look like looking for food for you first. Let me get myself straight, and
And,
then now we both can look for. I'm good. So now anything I find, I can help you with.
and our problem is that we'll go to McDonald's and consider that a meal, and then we
Mm.
want to share. Well, we need to be learning how to farm before
Oh,
we share.
before we share,
Yeah. Um, my last question, I'm gonna let you get out of here. If it was up to you, would we go back to segregation?
absolutely. I can't wait. They said that Donald Trump is gonna bring back segregation. Put the signs up today. Put them up today. I wanna know exactly who feel what and where you don't want me at, so I cannot be there. Put them up today. But understand, our signs going up too. And that segregation ain't just gonna be, well, white got our own stuff and then all of y'all lumped together. Nope. Because I look at it like, as I said earlier, as black people, we can educate our children to the doctorate level. Doctor, I have a son I'm trying to get into college right now. We're looking at all the options. So I'm on the HBCUs, and this one's got 8 doctoral programs, 6 doctoral programs, 20 doctoral programs. We can educate our children. We got farms. We can feed our children. A lot of people got land in Georgia, Alabama. I'm looking at those farm network. It may be 400 farms on there. So if we're only buying from us, if we're only putting farmers markets up in our community, so we ain't got to go in Whole Foods and buy their GMO food. We ain't got to go in Whole Foods and buy their products. And I spoke about the sister and other people who are in Target and Walmart pulling their products and selling direct to us.
Yeah.
Your business might take a little bit of a hit, but aren't you required to sacrifice as well? For the good if it meant your business doesn't get as big as it could have been if you stayed there, until maybe 20 years later. Isn't it worth it for independence? Isn't it worth it for the freedom of your people?
Yeah.
Isn't it worth it to stop the gun violence and the low education rates and all of this? People talk about Donald Trump. Oh, he's tearing this down. He's tearing this down. He's going after the FBI. Well, we been knew the FBI wasn't good. They wasn't no good for us. COINTELPRO came out of their shop. So if he want to tear them down, hopefully he take COINTELPRO with him. If he wants to take the Department of Education down, well, they haven't been educating our children. It's our responsibility to educate our children. We'll get them educated. You think we're just gonna let our children? We're gonna go back to the dark ages if we separate from these folks? We're not.
We kind of have already.
Mm,
We've been as parents, myself included. I'm not
mhm.
making like I'm exclusive. We have allowed them to teach our children nothing for decades.
Far too long.
So at this point, we are, especially education wise, we are the problem. Because
Yeah.
that's completely, just like you said, that is absolutely 100% controllable on our end.
Take them out. And if you can't take them out, oh, well, what about people that single parent households and all that? Is it not worth it for for the sake of your children to change that? You may not. It may not be necessarily what you want. It may not be how you want to do things. But I feel like putting your children first and the future of the nation, the future of your people, the future of your community before your own wants and needs. We're not talking about 1,000 years. We can change this. We can change this in 20, 30 years.
You think so?
Definitely.
20 years though,
In
bro?
20 years. If you mean to, do you think so? Do you think today, if they said the next four NBA team sales and the next four NFL team sales are going to a black person, if black people can come together and find them somebody rich enough to buy, you don't think they'll crowdsource so a black person can own the Dallas Cowboys?
No,
You don't think those businessmen will come
no,
together and form a black
no.
business group to go buy
Nigga.
them?
What's my man from no not fucking around coalition still in prison?
Grandmaster Jay.
Yes, still in prison. We like my man Rodney. Like we didn't outsource the money for him, but come on, it ain't nothing like old girl they call it a little kid a nigga.
Well, I mean, they got if you if you look at it per capita, as they say, we raised a ton of money. Carmelo Anthony, when he came in, we raised a ton of money. Smaller group of people, roughly the same amount of money.
Actually, more probably as far as like, expendable money or shit we waste.
Mhm.
That way, if you want to put it, what do they say? How many $1 trillion do we spend every year
Right, that $1.8 trillion in
on
spending power,
nothing?
and that's another thing. As a group of people, at some point we got to settle down, and we have to allocate our dollars toward what we need. Hey, how many farms do we need to feed every black person? If segregation were to come back today and you couldn't go in the grocery store, how many farms would you need? How many acres of land, etc., etc., etc.? And make it the wave. Anybody that's not on this, you shunned. You get drafted, and man, I'm not on that farm, and I'm trying to buy ice. And guess what? We ain't buying your jerseys. We ain't supporting you. None of that. You ostracized. Man, black people don't look out for me. We not. Until you get on code and do what we're doing as a collective, we're not. That's old people. All of them. You own all these businesses, and we were just happy to see a rich black man. But what's he doing with it? Is he building schools? Is he doing and not charter schools with his name on it? Actual schools. You see the brother down in Georgia building schools. He got a school. You might not necessarily like him, but do what he doing. If you don't like him
Oh, you
personally,
talking about the young dude?
King Randall.
I've had him on the show.
If you don't like him, what he's doing is working.
Nigga built
So
the school at like 20. Nigga, like 20. You
So
can say
do
what the
you
fuck you
don't.
want, and I don't agree with some of the shit that comes out the man's face.
And that's
But he built a school at
but he
like
did it.
20.
And if you don't want him being the one educating the children, then you do it. And then you can remove the man, he say too much Trump stuff. Then you can remove it. Maj Toure has the Solutionary Center. Yeah, but he be over there with that Trump stuff. Then you go get you a building and you can have people do classes for free. You can sit in the RV and fundraise and do the same thing he doing, just without the MAGA or whatever it is that you don't like about this person. If your actions, if you are doing it, I'll support you too. If you are changing Black lives, I'll support you too. If you are in the community working, New Era Detroit, I ain't never heard them say anything MAGA. I support them. They go out in the community and they are around in the community. When something happens in that, if you don't want to call the police, you can call New Era Detroit. Hey, that dude they were looking for ran in that lady house and harmed her. He over here. They ain't got no problem going to get him and bringing him to the police. The same thing with the Nation of Islam. You call the Nation of Islam and say, listen, they shooting down here. There's a war. Something they done there. Something's going on. We losing too many young men. Or they snatching black women off the street. They snatching kids off the street. You think the nation won't send 10, 20 people out there to go and be in the community? They will.
3 o'clock in the morning.
They'll be down there.
Yes.
So you have the options. You have the solution. You just got to execute them. And anybody that's not on that, you got to cut them off. Are you with what we got going on? Well, nah, I'm a senator. I'm just gonna do what they tell me to do. Gotta cut you off. If you're not on what we're on, we gotta cut you off. Now they might keep you in the position, but we're gonna do everything. We're politically savvy enough now to get you up out of there.
Go eat without the seasoning, bro. You can't get no haircuts over here.
That's it. Right. You can't. Don't come down here, or we're gonna make it uncomfortable for you.
Right.
This is not the place for you. Go away. Don't come down here.
No,
You're not gonna find comfort here.
Not at all. I'm with you on that, bro. Yo, it is always a pleasure, bro. Always.
Absolutely.
And we're going to continue. I'm going to continue to bring you back on every once in a while because niggas need to know what's popping in the black gun community.
Absolutely.
And even bigger than that, just an honest look and an honest assessment about our community.
Absolutely.
Yo, and you already know, man. Anything I can do for you, bro, I got you.
Absolutely. Just real quick, I just wanted to say, if you are looking for a black firearms resource, it used to just be instructors, but now it's gun stores. If you're looking for gun clubs, if you're looking for just places to go and train people to meet up with, if you want only a woman instructor, all of that, bestofblack2a.com. www.bestofblack2a.com. It was created by a black woman, and she's got thousands of resources on there now all across the country. You go on there, you can search your state. It'll tell you people in your area. Reach out to them. Go get you some training. You know, they'll help you with firearms. You don't know what to buy. Guess what? They can go down there with you. You know, 20, 30, 40, $50, whatever it is they charge, and go down there with you for an hour, 45 minutes, show you some good things, some bad things. Just reach out. If you are afraid, now's the time. Now's the time. Everybody's doing it now. So many people across the country are doing it. So bestofblack2a.com.
Oh, and if you are a black farmer and you want to come on the show, please let me know.
Yes.
And also, I would love to have a black cowboy.
Okay. Yeah.
That actually competes. I need to
Okay.
know that you're just like, why are you riding a bull, bro? Yo,
Absolutely.
that's crazy to see.
Black
Anyway,
rodeo stars.
Absolutely. On that note, bro, I'm out, man. You have a phenomenal evening on purpose, and thank you.
Yes, sir.
Stop
Much
by,
appreciated. Appreciate you
You
having
already
me
know,
on.
Come on, bro.
Yes.
You already know, man. You family, man.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
holler at you, Jay. Have a
You
good
know
one.
it, man. Absolutely.
Peace.